Welcome to Tales, Tunes, and Tomfoolery starring Jerry Springer, along with Gene Galvin and me. I'm Megan Hills. We're recorded live in front of a brilliant studio audience at the Folk School Coffee Parlor in Ludlow, Kentucky.
My daddy came home.
Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Jerry Springer.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
It's good to be back. It's good to be back.
It's good. I've actually taped your introduction of me to my alarm clock.
Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Jerry Springer.
And so when I get up in the morning, here's Jerry Springer. Well, I wake up in a good mood.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you, Gene.
Yeah. Oh,
For me?
Yeah. So I was
sure.
at our local Kroger in Fort Mitchell the other day doing
Yeah.
some grocery shopping.
Yeah.
And this guy approached me and stopped me. And he said, Are you the girl from that Springer podcast? And I said,
Oh,
well,
that's nice to
heck
be
yeah, I thought
recognized.
it was really cool. And I said, yeah. And he goes, I've heard this rumor a few times. I'd like to make sure that this is the truth. Did Gene Galvin marry one of the Fly Girls?
From In Living
Like
Color.
from In Living Color back in the day. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well,
so is this, I've met your wife. I didn't know Bonnie was a Fly Girl. I had no idea.
well,
Is that
yes
it?
and no.
Okay. All right.
What's a fly girl? Is that something you can take shots for?
No.
By the way,
I don't know.
watch
I
this.
don't know what a fly girl is.
You really
watch
don't know
this,
what a Fly
Megan.
Girl is?
I'm going to tell him who a Fly Girl is and watch his
the reaction.
Carrie Ann Inaba, is that her
Yes.
name?
Yeah.
Was a Fly Girl.
So
J-Lo.
On In Living Color with the Wyman brothers, as I
Oh.
recall.
Yeah. Wayne.
J-Lo,
Wayne brothers.
the
Oh,
Wayne
they're
brothers,
like-
the
yeah.
Wayne brothers,
Yep.
and it was
J-Lo,
J-Lo,
Carrie Ann Inaba.
Carrie Ann Inaba, and Perez was, I think, the
Rosie Perez, the
was the
choreographer.
Oh, they're like
choreographer.
dancers with the...
Yeah.
They did the opening of all
So,
the shows. Yeah.
no, I did not marry a Fly Girl, but I did marry a forerunner of the Fly Girls because back in the 1960s, this goes back a
I'm
ways,
sure she's happy that you're
I-
announcing how long ago
first
it was
saw-
that she was dancing.
She is a
I
lucky
first
lady.
saw this woman on television on a short-lived show on Channel 5 where you were the anchor man some years later.
In Cincinnati.
And do you guys, you won't remember this, Megan, your parents probably would, but there was a show called, and it was right before this In Living Color, a few years before, called Shindig.
Oh, yeah.
It was
there
a rock and roll show.
Yeah, and Hullabaloo.
Yeah, and they were rock and roll shows, and
Yeah.
they
Heard of
had what
Hullabaloo,
were
yeah.
then called go-go dancers who danced, in front of the rock bands.
Is that what a
etc.
fly girl is? A go-go
Yeah,
dancer?
well, kind of the
It's
Fly
an evolved
Girls.
version of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
Evolve?
Yeah.
but they did like really intense choreography, and it was
Oh.
good stuff.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
loved
neat.
them.
Oh, good.
So I was watching television one day before I went to work, part-time job while I was going to college, and I saw this show called Five for Channel 5 in the Cincinnati area, Five a Go-Go.
Oh, that's cute.
And there were women who were hired by that TV station to be that early version of the Fly Girls. And they were like college girls hired who were dancers. And I really focused in on this one girl. And fast forward a month or two after that, went into a new nightclub in Cincinnati, really
she
cool
was
place.
there. She was there.
And I walked in and I saw her, and a friend of mine I goofed around with, and I said, yeah, I'd like to meet her, and he went over and brought her over, and I was flabbergasted, and I will tell you, I went into motion. I was pathetic. I was a
believe that.
groveler, and I was
Yep.
it was not
Gee,
attractive.
Crying,
Begging, crying,
sniveling,
That-
yeah.
giving her stuffed
That is-
animals.
yeah.
So you want to see my car? I had a sports car, and
I believe every word of that.
the
Yeah,
fact
what's hard to
of
believe
the
about that?
matter is, I started begging my wife, true story, to marry me probably within weeks.
You had to lock
I
that
got
down.
repeated no's. She had enough sense to say, no. And then finally, my buddy told me, he said, you got to lock that down. You got to close this deal because you'll never get,
That's your peak right there.
That
That's
was
it.
my peak.
Yep.
And eventually I wore her down. She
it
said
was a
yes.
great
And
peak. You married above yourself. You
I
really
did.
did.
I married above
Yeah.
myself, and I married a
Way above.
early version of a Fly Girl. Yeah.
Yes.
That's
and
really
then
cute.
she found out that I am quite amazing. She then learned that, and she's had a great life. And you can ask
And
her.
she's been seeing lawyers ever since.
Ever since how she met Jerry Springer.
Yeah, there's hardly a lawyer in
Yeah,
town that she has.
Can you help me get out of this?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I want to ask you something, both Jerry and Megan.
I'm telling you every time he asks this.
I'm working on making money off of this. First of all, I'm going to speak only for myself. Jerry, I think you're pretty well set. Megan, you have a very promising career. You're clearly talented. You have talents beyond doing the podcast. You're great at that. You have a big
wants
girl
something.
job, and
He
He
wants
really
something.
wants something
He wants
bad.
something.
I don't have much. I'm trying to bump up
Well, that's true.
my money for my Social Security, to be honest.
Well,
Yeah.
And so I'm now figuring out how to monetize this podcast.
is this the business plan that we've heard about?
This,
Got a business
You
plan.
think this
It's up here.
podcast
It's up here.
It's
I didn't
all
really
up
think
here
that
in my
one
brain.
through, but yeah.
you think this podcast is going to make money?
I'm hoping like hell it is, because I am tired of taking the Ludlow City bus. No offense, it's a great bus line, but it's just like, get a car. I'd like to get a car like you guys have. So here's what I'm thinking. We start advertising, and I think our angle will be that we do endorsements. We don't just have some ad that David Pruce from Ambient Studios, our technical producer, just kind of bleeds in. We endorse.
So we have to personally endorse the item.
We use
products.
the products, and they are products that we have used, that we love, and then we talk about them. I think the truth works in advertising.
Oh, well, look at this. As if that didn't just happen
Isn't
again.
that amazing? Now, here's what this is so creepy, Megan.
He just pulled out that pill
He
pocket
just
again.
took Metamucil.
So there's our first sponsor.
He took Metamucil. He took it for real.
It's wonderful, and it makes me comfortable.
Yes, I bet
What's
it does.
wrong with that?
Okay. Oh my God! How
really
many
is.
of those do you take a
it's,
hit?
it's 6 capsules in 1 serving.
You take 6 of those every time you
You're
take 'em.
supposed to. That's a serving. It says, serving.
And then
How
do
many
you
times a
keep
day
a
do you do
clear
that?
path to the bathroom
Right.
open? What is it?
No,
How many times a day?
this is personal. 3.
This is an example of what I'm talking about.
Yeah, okay.
How could you miss having Jerry Springer doing personal endorsements of Metamucil? He clearly uses the product. How
Clearly.
many years have you used the product?
10 years.
10 years. You like the
And
product.
I like going around and saying, you know what, that Jerry, he's a regular guy.
Now, by God, I apologize for that. I mean, maybe it's funny, but I apologize for that.
All right, so Gene, in this vein, what's your
I don't
what's
know.
your product going to be? Do we have what
Yeah.
adult diapers?
Well, look, well, that's what I was thinking, adult diapers. But I mean, if he's gonna,
Oh, the kids are going to listen to us now. We're getting that young demographic.
Metamucil and Depends.
Metamucil and Depends. Good Lord.
I love it.
do they have a product that's like a cone or a horn you hold up to your ear and you say, "Hey, what?"
Yeah.
What? You yell at it.
No, yeah. I mean,
Well,
I
was
think you
thinking,
got something there.
So that
I
could
was
be-
thinking, like, no doubt, backpack gear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
could
yeah.
do backpack
Yeah.
gear, active wear clothing, all of that
You
stuff.
could. You could
Jerry,
honestly do that.
seriously,
Biking equipment.
all of that
Yep.
stuff. And in
Yep.
addition to doing Metamucil, you could do ads for the Bentley company, for the local dealership of Bentleys, or for Gulfstream
Cincinnati Bentley
airplanes or
dealership.
something. Products you use.
Yeah.
But I was thinking,
Yeah,
Jerry, and
particularly around Christmas, because you want to get your loved one a
Gulfstream, yeah,
a Gulfstream
That's what
plane
everybody
for Christmas.
or
Yeah.
get her a month's worth of jet fuel.
There you go.
Or something.
That's the
because-
gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah. That's right. And I was thinking, Jerry, for Megan, I'm almost afraid to look over at her because, first of all, Megan, and we compliment her, she just got a new job as a HR manager for a large company in this area.
Yeah.
So
We don't have anyone HR. In
that's what I was wondering. We have this company called Liberals Always Win. That's
the
the
name of the
LLC
company that produces
and
this
that's
show.
who writes checks, etc.
You mean I write the check.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was
The
sort of speeding
company.
through that. Yeah, the company.
Nice business plan.
Jerry,
And so
we need
I
more
was
money.
wondering, who
Since when
is-
should I have to pay to talk?
Yeah.
You should.
Who is our HR department? I don't really know who
Well,
I would
Megan,
report
you,
to.
in real life, you are an HR director.
In real life,
Well,
so
how can you be an HR director and work with us two?
It is a stretch. I don't tell them about this.
Yeah,
They have
and
no
they have
idea.
no idea about this.
They really truly
We
don't know.
don't
I don't tell
pass
anyone at work.
any-
Nobody
we don't
knows
pass
about this.
any test.
Not
for
even
what's
a little
appropriate.
bit.
I was thinking this of a product that
Don't
Megan.
even go there.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Yeah, you can't.
Are you kidding me? That
that's
would be so
that's inappropriate.
interesting if she did an endorsement of that product.
No.
And did that on our
What are you talking?
podcast.
Okay,
I'm-
I don't know what you're talking about.
And
so
Jerry,
what is this here?
You tell her.
No.
Are you afraid of me?
She's going to hurt me.
I don't want to look at her and say it either.
Oh my
Do you
God.
agree that it would be
I
very
mean, it's
cool?
not an illegal
hold on.
product.
It's not
It's not an illegal product. Don't you think it would be a great idea that she would endorse that on this podcast?
But I think for our demographic, it'd be irrelevant.
yeah, right.
Now I
right,
need
right.
to know what this is.
Well,
for real.
I don't want to say it, Jerry, but just show that to her and see if she'd be willing to do that product and just.
So, it's tampons.
Well,
Thank you, Gene.
well, I didn't. You're the one that said it. I didn't.
I
say
never
it.
said it.
So we're going to
What I
have a couple
said-
conversations about some HR issues.
Yeah.
if
See,
you would both
now
meet with
now
me
we have to
after
both go down and talk to HR because we.
Are you
brought up-
serious?
No,
oh
I
my
don't know.
God.
No, you know what?
both.
What
People
you
who
could
are listening
do.
to us.
Hey, first of all, you could do, Megan,
What do you need?
high
a sample
heels.
for?
I could do high heels.
You
Stilettos.
could.
I could.
You
You
could
could
do
do-
that.
I
You
could.
could do that.
Told you that's my Twitter handle, Happy and Heels. I love
There it is.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
so
a good
we've
one.
got
I like that.
Your
Metamucil.
Twitter handle is Happy in Heels?
Yeah, sure is.
Damn, that was mine. But only on weekends.
Used to be.
Only on weekends during the week.
So
Yeah,
no,
it used
Gene,
to
no,
be.
I will not be endorsing tampons on
All
the
right,
Jerry
and I
Springer
meant no
podcast.
offense. We meant, well,
A little
it was his
taken.
idea, by the way, but we meant no
That's the
offense.
kind of stuff that appears on my show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Okay, we're not going to do that. But we are, hey, if you're listening to this and you have a company that you think we might fit to do endorsements, then start to contact us. You know,
Heck
you
yeah.
could, we're starting to kind of figure all this out.
Like for
And-
my show, I do endorsements like for furniture companies because we're always throwing chairs.
Because you go through
Oh,
a
that's
lot of
good.
furniture.
Yeah.
For wigs, we're
Yeah.
always pulling wigs.
Yeah.
I do that. And,
You know, here's something.
and for reading classes.
yeah,
and
right.
Metamucil.
And, here's something that isn't funny at all.
Yeah, let's change it.
There is, some are estimating maybe 300,000 people already are coming into mainly Europe,
The migrants,
coming
yes.
through Turkey, refugees, migrants coming through Turkey, then sometimes finding their way to Greece. Some people are dying in this sort of seductively short crossing that gets to Greece but it's very turbulent waters. Some people are walking in, but there is a huge crisis going on now. And as we always say, we're not a daily talk show, so we don't do headlines here. We do more big issues that kind of stick around for a while. This is one we wish wouldn't stick around, but I suspect it will. And that is this issue of people trying to get out of some war-torn countries in the Middle East. Now the Pope Francis, recently is calling upon the world to react and to help these refugees. So we have two sides of this, Jerry, and I'd like to have you comment
And the
on this
Pope is coming to America.
shortly,
Right.
in the next few weeks.
And you have, all these politicians running for president, and oh, this is wonderful, the Pope's coming. And yet, His Holiness is coming here to talk about issues that are absolutely opposed by the candidates, at least in the Republican Party, or most of them running for president.
Climate change.
He's talking about climate change.
Immigration.
He's talking about immigration, the excesses of capitalism.
Yep. Unbridled
market-
capitalism.
Yeah,
And-
income inequality.
Yep.
And this is beautiful. So you have Trump, who's the face of the Republican Party, and then you have the Pope coming in, and particularly on this issue of immigration.
And by the way, let me slide in one fact and then roll, and that is that the Pope is calling upon every parish in the world, actually, but in America alone, Cincinnati alone, there are hundreds of parishes, Catholic parishes, and that's duplicated in every major city and in rural areas. There are thousands of parishes in the United States. He's calling on everyone to take at least one refugee family. And then the other side of this thorny dilemma is largely Republicans their mantra is becoming, don't take these refugees because they're fake terrorists. That's what they're worrying, that there is a game at play here. So anyway, what are your thoughts on this whole refugee crisis?
Well, first of all, one thing, I really like the idea, and it's a sweet irony, and it's a good one, that Germany is taking the lead, because, certainly in my personal experience, but, during the 20th century, people were trying to get out of Germany, and trying to get to other countries so that they could live. So they were running away from Hitler. They were running away from all of that. And now Germany has become the country recognizing its history and saying, no, when people are desperate because they just want to live, we're going to open, under some regulated system, but somehow we're going to open our shores, open our doors, and come on in. And that is the human thing to do. It is the decent thing to do. I mean, it's the decent thing. And particularly America now. We ought to be taking as many of the migrants as we can, as much as possible. They're issues, but they pale in comparison to the human suffering that's going on. And our country is about immigration. When you talk about American exceptionalism, you cannot have American exceptionalism without immigration. There are two things that have made America great. One is the idea of freedom, and two, it is facilitated by immigration. Virtually everything that is great in America, every invention, every great, the great artists, everybody that has achieved something in America, almost everybody, in their DNA, they're an immigrant. The DNA of America is we got the best scientists, the best artists, the best engineers, the greatest minds in the world, simply because they wanted to go to a place on this earth where they wouldn't face persecution and where there was freedom, and so they came to America. That's how we have American exceptionalism. Look at the CEOs of most of the major companies in America and look at their last names. They came from someplace else. We all did. When Trump says, let's make America great again, you can't make America great if you don't have immigration. That is our secret. You kill immigration, you will ultimately kill America. There'll be nothing but inbreeding. We are great because everybody came from someplace else except African Americans who were brought here as slaves. But the rest of us came here voluntarily. Our parents, grandparents, whatever it was, we came here because this was a chance where we could try to make it and we'd be free to do it. After World War II, we got better scientists than the Russians got. Why do you think we landed on the moon? None of the people that created our ability to land on the moon were people that came over here on the Mayflower. We're immigrants. We ought to get so serious about this issue. It is more than an election. We are destroying the idea of America if you build a wall and stop immigration. And, we're not going to let the immigrants in because they could be terrorists. Some of these terrorists that we're finding are people that are living here in America that have the internet. What do you want to start doing? Saying from now on, if you go to certain websites or if you're using the internet, we're going to arrest you because you could turn out to be a terrorist. These people that are coming over here or trying to get into European countries, they're dying. They're going to get killed. They're running over with their children. What kind of a human being says, I'm sorry, we're not going to take you in? It's wrong. I mean, it is just, and we did that. Even the United States did that. That ship to St. Louis that came over in World War II or just before World War II with the Jews, and they tried to dock here in Miami, and they were sent away because we had a quota system. They sent them back, and they died in the Holocaust. Why is that okay? Under what moral ethic? And these people run for political office. Oh, I'm God-fearing, and the Pope's coming. I'm not Catholic, but the Pope's right. He's absolutely right. If you profess to have feelings about God or being spiritual at all, I don't care what your religion is, under what moral ethic do you say it's okay because they happen to be born someplace else, let them die? They don't love their children. Really? I mean, it's crazy. You want America to be exceptional, you fight every effort to stop immigration. It is a filthy thing to do. It defies the American ideal and the American dream. They should be ashamed of themselves. Don't dare run for president when you're talking about building walls instead of the Statue of Liberty.
Yep.
It's
Very
going
well
to
put.
be it's going to be pretty interesting when the Pope comes in a few weeks, has a presence, and he's going to be here for a while, and he's going to do a lot of talks. He's going to the Congress, and it'll be interesting to see how the candidates, particularly the Republican candidates, and their viewpoints juxtaposed to his on these issues that you've mentioned. And I wonder how that's all going to play out, because you're going to have a pretty heavy moral force on the one side going up against a lot of views that are much more xenophobic, and the contrasts are going to be pretty stark.
There was a photo that went viral this weekend online of the little boy. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I think that it's awful, and as horrific as that is, at least it's sparking a conversation, and people are starting to get outraged about it. When you see an image like that, you cannot simply look away from it.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's really, we have no room for them in America.
Right.
Seriously? You ever fly across the country and see how much
Montana?
land where nobody is?
Yeah.
You know that when my mother came here and came to the neighborhood she came to, which happened to be in the Cincinnati area, to a church, through the church.
Yeah.
So the Catholic Church, and it's not the only institution, the Jewish faith during the Holocaust was very active, finding places. My God, the stories of heroism of people who fought to get Jews out of the places where they were threatened to the point of death. This is not new that the Catholic Church is taking this position, and I don't know how. How does Donald Trump argue against the Pope, who is saying, bring people to parishes? He's not even talking about the government. He's talking about coming into the various parishes across, in this case, America. It's going to be
You could say for Trump, which is a great point you're making. You could say for Trump, well, he's not the most religious person to begin with, so it's probably not a conflict in his mind. But you have Santorum,
Yeah.
and you have some of these other candidates that are
Marco Rubio is
Right.
one assumes Roman Catholic.
right, and Bush is a Catholic. Yeah, he even said, I don't think the Pope should get involved in politics.
Yeah.
I don't get my political. Well, excuse me, what is politics other than, in terms of the great issues, dealing with moral issues?
It's true.
Yep.
Of what kind of people and what kind of country we're going to be. There's no morality here in an issue like this. Again, why do these people run for president other than their own ego and their own ambitions? It's like, send them first to school and learn what America is about. And then, if you pass the test, then run for president.
And you watch them have to pander to their primary audiences, to the primary election audiences, and it's just sort of sickening to watch it, because they have to veer off to the center to try to win a general. I don't know how you guys have been feeling thus far on the podcast. I'm feeling a certain level of excitement and a little trepidation, because a few weeks ago we shot our mouths off to
You
well,
You shot your mouth off, let's be honest.
Casey Campbell. We hired as our music coordinator, and we
No,
fall over
you're
ourselves
still on
complimenting him.
this.
He's bringing in these great groups week after week.
Right.
So last week, Jerry, you boasted to
Nope.
Casey.
Nope.
Yeah,
My
I
memory
didn't-
was it was Jerry, Megan,
Absolutely
with you
not.
egging him on.
Absolutely
of saying,
not.
Megan, it was
It was
Gene,
Gene,
wasn't it?
It was Gene.
And my memory was you were whining about, well, show some respect because you were a part of a folk group when you were college and year after
David,
college.
we have
be the
that,
same.
don't we? We can go back and listen to Gene's whining about this.
It was Jerry saying all that. So we said, okay, we'll create the Jerry Springer Trio. And we created the Jerry Springer Trio.
This was against my will.
And we have been working in a studio for 2 weeks,
Hours.
working on a
And you're
on
trying
a
to
CD
get sponsors
that has
for this
basically
show.
yes.
You can kiss those sponsors goodbye.
We basically put together a CD. It's a little thin. It has one song in it, and
The only one that has my CD is Citibank.
so
my
that's clever.
These are
No,
getting worse.
actually, I did have a CD. It is true.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't-
you have.
I had-
You
I
have
had a country CD.
recorded music over the years.
And I suggest to you, you may want to buy these CDs. It's a great stocking stuffer because you know how sometimes you have a wobbly table in the kitchen?
Or a person you don't
If you
like.
take my CD and place it under the shortest leg.
Yeah. Maybe you
will-
have a number of them. Buy a number.
Oh, it went
Hey.
great. Once we sold it that way, it went.
Haven't you have been on stage performing in front of audiences with Miley Cyrus's
Billy Ray.
Billy Ray?
Ray, yeah.
You have
Yeah,
done
I did.
that.
Ended that
You've re-
career like that.
Yeah.
That went down real quick.
Oh, Billy
So-
Ray, yeah.
Here's what I'm proposing
Yes.
we do. Let's walk over to that cluster of microphones.
Yes. Are
Let's
they turned
set
on?
up. They are on, and let's just rock this song. And let's stand up, and when you walk over there, for God's sake, for as Megan says, for the love of God, have a confidence in your step as you walk over there. Don't walk over there all snivelly and bent over and nervous.
But
Stand
what if-
up tall.
but what if-
Sell this song, Jerry Springer and Megan Hill. Sell it. I'm going to be out helping
Yeah, what? Yeah,
catfish
yeah,
out in the
yeah.
other room.
I gotta
Yeah.
go, so
Yeah.
you guys
Yeah.
have fun.
Now, here's what I like to propose we do. By God, each one of us take a verse. Take
you-
a verse. If you can sing, go over there and sing a damn verse. Don't be hiding behind me. You take a verse. You take the first verse.
By the way, this is how we're ending the show.
It's been really
I
fun.
mean, forever, forever.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Hand me that
Okay.
guitar.
All right.
Well,
Guess this
after
is
hearing
really
the other
happening.
acts, this is now embarrassing. Okay, and for all of you here, quit staring.
This is really gonna happen.
I once did it one night when I was doing the news in Cincinnati. I just, and the camera's on close shot as I'm reading the news, and I just looked right into the camera. I say, "Stop staring." Well, imagine if you're sitting at home watching the news, and how many people suddenly went, "Oh."
Hey, Jerry, part of the way through this song, I'm going to kick it over to you to do a guitar instrumental.
Okay, yeah.
A
And
lead.
what is
A
that
break
when
is
you do
called.
that? What's the word for when you're really?
Shredding. Give me shredding. All right.
Yeah.
Ready? Here we go.
All right.
I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Take it, Gene. Gonna beat my sword into a plow down by the riverside. I'll beat my sword into a plow down by the riverside. Beat my sword into a plow down by the riverside, and ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Oh, look at my fingers dance. Oh, smooth, man. I didn't think I could do that anymore. Lord, I took out. Now listen. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more.
Down by the riverside, I'm gonna walk with the Prince of Peace. Down by the riverside, I'm gonna walk with the Prince of Peace. Down by the riverside, I'm gonna walk with the Prince of Peace, and I ain't gonna study war no more.
I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. tears from all that strumming. What do we do now?
All right. So how we do? We're like divas. We're like, love me, tell us we're great.
Tell us we're pretty.
We took our best shot.
Okay.
No, well, you know what's neat?
What is neat?
What is neat?
Yeah.
No, because when we sing, the audience is really getting involved because you all have to guess where the notes were supposed to have been.
Exactly.
So that it's like audience participation because some of you are yelling out B flat, so it's great. So I really appreciate
All right,
that.
well, you know, we always end on
Yeah.
Irene, good night.
Right.
And why don't we just have the guts to step up and do that song?
Okay.
Us. Hey, by the way,
How
let's
come every
tell the
time you
truth.
talk about guts, you're always standing in the back?
Well, let's tell the truth. Chris Goins was playing the guitar, and
Yes.
he did that.
Yeah. How about that? How about that?
Also playing guitar is Casey Campbell. And helping on background singing vocals, and Maria Corelli, who is one of our favorites here. All right,
Okay,
so let's do Irene Goodnight.
you guys have really talent, and
You saved us.
we're just you saved us.
You
so
have
that-
talent too, Jerry. It's just different kind of talent.
Yeah. Good luck in your future job.
It's been nice knowing you, Casey.
I hope you got a good resume.
I do now.
Last Saturday night, I got married. Me and my wife, well, we settled down. Now me and my wife have parted. I guess I'll take another stroll downtown.
You've been listening to Tales, Tunes, and Tomfoolery, sponsored by the Folk School Coffee Parlor in Ludlow, Kentucky. Thanks to Patrick Kennedy for writing our opening song, and to you for listening. Hope to see y'all again real soon.
I'll see you in my dream.
Stop rambling, stop your gambling, stop staying out late at night. Go home to your wife and your family and sit by the fireside right. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams.
I love Irene, Lord knows I do. Love her till the seas untie. But if Irene ever leaves, I'm gonna take the morphine and die. Yes, sir.
Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams.
Sometimes I live in the country. Sometimes I live in town. Sometimes I take a great notion and jump in the river and drown.
Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. I'll see you in my dreams.
Good night, Irene.
Yeah.
Good night, Irene. Good night, Megan.
Good night, Jerry.
night, John Boy.
Y'all come back now.